Amish Couple 50 says Swans look much better on a bigger ground so they can run. Yeah, I think someone in the commentary team that made that observation tonight, and it did look true, didn't it? They had, I sort of feel with them like the last time they had a really good sort of, quick, relatively quick and a good running side was, I mean, they certainly had that, say, on grand final day 2012 when they famously upset Hawthorn, and I think they had that to a degree a couple of years later when they made the grand final again and started favourite. But I sort of feel like in the last couple of years they've gone back to that sort of, relatively slow, slogging, contested ball-based team that has been so typical of so many Sydney teams. And clearly they're trying to address that. And these most of these young guys coming into the team are pretty mobile. So they're acutely aware of it. But definitely, I think they might now be a side that plays better footy on a bigger ground.
Rohan, I know Franklin may never be the player he was, but if you put Franklin, Heaney, Kennedy and Hewitt into that team, the way Papley's gone this year, the way Mills has certainly picked up the cudgels, there were question marks for me over Mills, not anymore. I know you like Rowbottom. I'm not as taken by him, but I am taken by Florence development. Hayward has become a more stern footballer, obviously given serious jobs. In other words, and Rampy's, back to focusing on football and not silliness. You know what? I like McCartan. I think he's done a good job in under trying circumstances. I think they take a lot. They always do, don't they? They never leave a season with an empty balance sheet. They've always got something to take to the next season. Great club, great coach.
Yeah, well, I mean, it sounds a bit silly to say this, but I mean, as wonderful a player as Buddy is, he's also a player that inevitably has you asking that question about, does any side that have, and we've asked this about the Swans, do they become overly Buddy focused and not use those alternative goal kicking sources they have? And you can't win really, because we've said so often this year they don't have the firepower up forward, but they do become very Buddy centric. And it's interesting, isn't it, when you look back to his Hawthorn period, probably, in that outstanding run the Hawks had, probably the best they looked was in 2013 when they were using him less as a focal point. He was working up the ground a bit more and, they shared the responsibilities a bit more. And it's not always an easy thing to accomplish when a guy of that stature comes back into a lineup and the guys up the ground and go, wow, there's Buddy, we've got to give it to him. And that's when, the McCartans and the Heaneys and these guys sort of start missing out on enough supply. So, be interesting when if and when he comes back.